Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you guys for joining me today, guys. Really appreciate it. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put your notifications on, and all that sweet stuff. Of course, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's get straight into the news in regards to Manchester United. Earlier today, there were reports that Manchester United are interested in Borussia Dortmund right winger, left winger, and centre forward Karim Adeyemi. Now, Karim Adeyemi has been reported on the Stretford Post a few months ago in regards to a move to Manchester United, but that deal went a little bit quiet, as with most deals do with Manchester United. Now, apparently, according to reports, Manchester United have held discussions with super agent George Mendes, who is the agent of Adeyemi. And this deal has has a little bit of weight to it. It has a little bit of movement to it, considering that Man United are speaking to Adeyemi's agent now. George Mendes has a huge history with Manchester United. A long history with Manchester United, of course, good and bad. And Adeyemi would be a surprise signing, in my opinion. It is something that is gone a little bit quiet. He is a right winger, left winger, and centre forward, so he's very versatile. I don't know if Man United would do this deal. However, he is valued at around 60 million euros. Because that is quite a lot of money when you're thinking about it. Man United could quite possibly do a deal for another player, i.e. Anderson or something like that, with a little bit of extra money, can do a deal with Anderson. But Adeyemi, 60 million euros, linked to Manchester United in January, guys. So obviously we're going to have a few problems, as we said many, many times, about the AFCON and the Mbeumo and Ahmad leaving for the AFCON, Mazraoui leaving for the AFCON as well. So obviously Man United are going to need cover and going to need someone that is a little bit versatile. Now, obviously Borussia Dortmund will be trying to hold on to one of their prize assets. Of course, Borussia Dortmund do produce a lot of players, and notoriously, Manchester United don't really have any luck when it comes to Borussia Dortmund players. They don't really do well at Manchester United, if we're being honest with ourselves, if we're being brutally honest with ourselves. And in fact, a lot of Borussia Dortmund players come to the Premier League and they don't do as well as they should. For example, Kagawa. You remember Kagawa? Mkhitaryan came to Manchester United as well. Didn't do that well. Aubameyang, he didn't do that well either. So, I mean, it is a dodgy transfer. It is a risky transfer. Man United are speaking to George Mendes, so that must mean that they are interested in this player and are looking at this player and exploring avenues in which to sign this player, guys. Of course, Karim Adeyemi would love a move to Manchester United. Of course he would, but obviously it's going to cost money for Man United to do a deal such as this, especially given the 60 million price tag that he is given. And let's not forget, this is just the starting price tag for Adeyemi. He could possibly go for more given a Man United tax. Of course, he already has 11 caps and 1 goal for Germany. So you know what? He is doing pretty well for himself at the moment. Barcelona have emerged as competitors for his signature as well. They are also interested in the player, of course, guys. Now, what do we do with this? 23 years old, Karim Adeyemi, Germany international. Would you do something like that? Or do you think it's a little bit too overpriced for a player of that ilk? What do you guys think about that? Now, another player that Man United has been mentioned on the show as well, obviously, is Nico Schlotterbeck. Nico Schlotterbeck, of course, is a centre midfielder, left back who plays for Dortmund as well, and he is a 25-year-old who currently has 22 caps for Germany. Look, what I would say is that the great thing about Schlotterbeck, he would only cost about 22 million euros. So he's not going to break the bank. But there is a lot of re-emerging stories in regards to Nico Schlotterbeck. It went quiet for a little while. Now it's starting to re-emerge. And then when stories start to re-emerge, it starts to add weight onto the seriousness of the links, because the stories don't just go away and then they re-emerge again. And then again, they actually have I think it was about a month ago now. I mentioned Slotterbeck. I mentioned him quite a while ago, guys. I mentioned Slotterbeck a month ago. And yeah, look, I like the player. Very good player. Not a German international for nothing. He's a very, very talented player, of course. And very, very valuable as well. That's one thing that is going to be attractive to Manchester United, isn't it? The valuation. The valuation, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me just say hello to people in the stream. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is blessed, of course. Big up, William. How you doing, my friend? Was watching Sam's stream last night. That Wolf guy, you know what I would say, William? He's a Nottingham Forest fan. Let Nottingham Forest fans talk. You know, we all know it's a joke, isn't it? You know, if you argue with a Nottingham Forest fan, you know, it's no point, is there? Because it's ridicule, isn't it? It's ridicule. You're gonna. It's in my opinion, it's bullying, isn't it? And I'm not a bully, you know. So it is bullying. If I start going in on Nottingham Forest, who've been in the lower divisions for the last few years and haven't been relevant for the last 40 years. So, you know, let them talk their smack. It's absolutely fine. It's just football banter. And to be honest, William, I don't really mind it because obviously I think I put him in his place. I think I did. You know, everyone wants to talk about Man United this, Man United that, but all the teams that I'm coming against, we won more trophies than them in the last 5 years. In our worst period, we still won more trophies than them. So there you go. Peace and bless a bit, RJ. Hope you're doing well. Big up, Danny B. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. RJ, what's wrong with Lee Gunner? He took it to with Terry on a damn charity stream. Truth was wrong for that also. There's a problem with Lee Gunner. There is a serious issue. I don't know if it's delusions of grandeur. I don't know what it is at the end of the day. He's just a seriously disturbed individual that hates everyone. So that's just about it. And that's all you can say about it. He walked off the stream yesterday like a little petulant little child. So what does that make him look like? At the end of the day, it just shows he isn't fit for the battle. He can't debate. He cries. He has his hissy fit and he cries and he leaves the stream. That's what people like Lee Gunner do. That's what fakes like Lee Gunner do. They cry and they have a hissy fit and they throw their rattles at their prem and they run off the stream without they can't banter. They can't argue their corner. They only can argue their corner when they're by themselves on the stream talking their smack. That's the only thing they can do at the end of the day. But that is just the way these guys are, unfortunately. This is why, look, you know, I would never go on them type of streams with people. Look, one thing I'm not. I'm a lot of things. But one thing I'm not a fake, you know. And to be honest with you, Lee has been speaking about Terry many, many times on his channel, you know, and then I don't think how you can go on someone's channel after they've been speaking all that smack. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't do that because I'm not fake. You know, I can't do that. I couldn't pretend. I mean, fair play to everyone who done it and fair play to the people. They made money and the people who donated to a great cause, of course, guys. But what I would say is that, yeah, look, I mean, it's just a bunch of petulant little children. Do you know what I mean? Aubameyang is just another prat as well. He's another prat as well, honestly. But yeah, it is what it is. Absolutely. Please get Adeyemi fast. Big up, my friend. Big up, my friend. What's going on, DJ Darkus? What's going on, my friend? Good to see you. How are you doing, buddy? I'm very well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is blessed with you, my guy. Hope everything is good with you. Big up, RJ. But Semenyo news about him leaving in January. Why would he go Liverpool? Now, lots of news about Semenyo. Look, I'm going to get into Semenyo now. Obviously, we've been speaking about Semenyo for a while. My theory is, obviously, Semenyo can play right wing, left wing, and forward. My theory is Man United will make a move for Semenyo, given the AFCON, given that we're going to lose Mbeumo, given we're going to lose Ahmad, of course. So Man United needs to shore up that right-hand side and left-hand side. However, it would be a very, very expensive signing for Man United in January. Of course it would. You know, 55 million valuation at the moment, just starting fee that is. So it's going to go probably up to 60, 70 million. Semenyo, I think, 31 caps for Ghana, 3 goals, very, very good player. One of the players of the season, one of the players of last season as well. He is 25 years old, so he's at that age and he's got Premier League experience, so he fits the bill perfectly, of course, guys. My only issue would be, where would he play? Would he be willing to play the left wing back position? Would he be willing to play the right wing back position? I know he can play right wing and left wing, but would he want to do the left wing back or the right wing back? It does give you some questions to be asked, doesn't it? However, if Man United, did make a move for him, it would mark a great signing, but I don't think Man United should be spending 70, 75 million on Semenyo, considering that we still haven't got the midfield fixed yet. We really do need to fix this midfield. I would much rather Man United go out there and get an Adam Morton or get an Anderson rather than getting a Semenyo. We got Cunha, we got Mbeumo, we've got a good attacking team. Do you know what I mean? If Man United wanted to bring in a left wing back, then they should go out and get a left wing back, get a DiMarco, someone like that, who's going to cost significantly less than Semenyo, in my opinion. That's what I would say about that. However, he's a very good player, being linked to Man United again. I don't personally think that he's going to come to Man United, in my opinion. I think he will go to someone I think he will go to someone else. No, I don't know about Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool got Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, and Mohamed Salah, and all these players. I don't think he'll go to Liverpool. He may go somewhere else. He may go to a Chelsea, for example. He may go somewhere like that. I mean, Man City, maybe, But, what I would say is this. Whatever Man United do need to invest in January. They really do. They need to back Ruben Amorim here. They really do need to back Ruben Amorim, because Ruben Amorim, at the moment, he's trying to do the job with two hands tied behind his back. That's what he's doing at the moment. And I think he's doing a relatively good job. DJ Darkus looks hot in the UAE. It's very hot, my guy. It's very hot in the UAE. It absolutely is. What is the temperature now in the UAE, guys? Let me have a little drum roll for you guys, yeah? I'll have a little drum roll for you. Look, the heat, it is now 7 in the evening. It's 7 in the evening. It's 26. Wait, it's 7 in the evening and it's 26. So it is in the evening, guys. So, you know what I mean? It's actually winter here now. So the weather's quite nice. The weather's quite nice. It goes up to about 35 to 40. So, but it's quite nice at the end of the day. It really is. GJ Darkus, someone said on the fan base they wish Portugal was in the AFCON so we could get rid of Dalot. I think they said that on Mark Goldbridge. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, look, tongue in cheek. It's a funny joke. Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Bruno's not going to be dropped, even though I think he should be. I think he should be dropped. I don't think he's played well this season, in my opinion. Dalot, we all know about Dalot, of course. But, at the moment, we're sort of being pushed into a corner because we're going to need these players now. We're going to need these players immensely during the AFCON in particular, So there we are, of course. Big up, Bobby. What's going on, my guy? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Hope everything is blessed with you, of course. And big up, Danny B. What's going on, Danny B? Hope you're doing well, my bro. Hope you're doing good. Probably a cheap summer deal if it doesn't sign the extension at Dortmund. He will have 12 months left on his deal. Could be a bargain in some sense. It could be, but I think Man United are looking more on the lines of January at the moment. I believe that Man United are looking for midfielders reinforcements in the summer. Man United are looking for like Anderson and Angelo Stiller, those sort of players in the summer, because Man United, I don't think, will be doing deals of that nature in January because they will cost too much money. But yeah, look, I think Man United are looking at stop gaps as well. They are looking at players that can come in and cover for Mbeumo and cover for Ahmad. Look, it might not be as bad as we think, but at the same time, you're looking at the fixture list, and we have got some difficult games there. Aston Villa away is no easy game. Crystal Palace away is no easy game. And then you look at obviously Bournemouth and Leeds and Everton. They're winnable games, but they're not going to be easy. So, what I would say, yeah, look, I think that Man United will do most of their deals in the summer, but I would love Man United to bring in some players in January. We hardly do it, we hardly do it. But you know as well as I do that Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea will sign some players in January, and leave us behind again. Absolutely, guys, absolutely. But yeah, guys, look, lots of news coming out of Man United. I think one of the telling things is the George Mendes situation with Adeyemi. Adeyemi, obviously 23 years old, so. Yeah, look, and none of these teams are going to be selling their players for reduced prices anyway, even if they got a year on their contract. As we know, we signed Mason Mount for 55 million, and he had a year on his contract, didn't it? So, look, I'm looking at loads of players here. João Gomez has been mentioned. Takefusa Kubo has been mentioned. Yavi Guerra has been mentioned. Schlotterbeck has been mentioned. Adeyemi, Anton Semenyo. We've had so many names that have been thrown at me. Pavlovic has been mentioned, of course, guys, as well. Eti Iong. Another one who's been mentioned quite obviously. Mark Casado is another one who's been mentioned, of course. Guys, we've spoken about so many different midfielders over this last few weeks. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys, absolutely. So, look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talking about, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't say anything bad about the formation. He actually clarified what I've been saying for a long time. When the formation works, it's very, very difficult to defend against. Let's not forget that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played a counter-attacking style of football, which is dinosaur football, in my opinion. The thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he couldn't move away from that formation. He didn't know how to move it. He wasn't tactically astute to move away from the counter-attacking style of football. This is why the likes of Marcus Rashford thrived, of course, guys, absolutely. But he didn't say anything bad about the formation. He actually said it works. So, but one thing I would say, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer clarified in this interview. In this interview, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spoke about Scott McTominay, and he said it there. He said that Scott McTominay is not a midfielder, basically, but they had to play him in midfield because he had the legs, because they had no one else to do the job. And this is exactly what we've been talking about. Scott McTominay was never a number 8 or number 6. He was always an attacking player in the team, guys. But of course, Man United purchased Bruno Fernandes. So what were they meant to do? You know, but if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he could have tried a 4-2-3-1. He could have done that, and he could have played McTominay, and he could have played Bruno in those positions and played a double pivot. You know, he could have done that, of course. But he decided to go with, obviously, McTominay in the midfield, which, as we know, McTominay is not a good number 8. And this is something that we keep repeating. It's something that we keep doing again and again and again. We keep playing these players in the wrong positions. And funny enough, it's always the same position, the number 8 position. It's always that, isn't it? Absolutely. RJ, Ole 4-1 away to Watford. Yeah, I mean, well, one thing about that game, look, I would say this, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we're all singing Ole's at the wheel. We're all singing it. Like, and I would never criticize Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a legend at Manchester United. He will always be a legend. He's not the best manager in the world, absolutely not. But let's not forget that a lot of those players, right, were great when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer walked in on an interim basis. But when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed that contract, you saw automatically, I think it was the game against Everton, they just down-tooled, smacked up 4-0, 4-1 against Watford. Watford was the last game, of course. I think some of the players already knew that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to be sacked at that time against Watford. Yeah, that was an absolute disgrace. And that just goes to show you, and this is why I don't trust a lot of these players. This is why some of the players that are currently still here, that were around at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, are still at the football club. This is why I don't trust him, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it will always be a legend. The problem with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and one of the things that irritated me, right, is the fact that he apologized to Marcus Rashford. He said, I shouldn't have said that about Marcus Rashford. You do not apologize. You do not apologize, because Marcus Rashford is a petulant little child, right? At the end of the day, Marcus Rashford can have all these little bots on Twitter. He's still a petulant little child. I don't care what he does elsewhere. A legend like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should never be apologizing to someone like Marcus Rashford. Absolutely not. GJ Darkis saw the interview with Senny Lamens. He said, I was a stroker, but I was a stroker, but I was crap. So my friends put me as a striker. I thought he was a stroker. I thought, is he a stroker? Is he have a stroke? Or what is it? He's a striker. Yeah, I mean, a lot of defenders and a lot of goalkeepers started off as strikers. Let's not forget, Peter Schmeichel played up front for Brøndby for a little while, guys. Let's not forget he scored a few goals up front. He actually scored quite a few goals for Man United, even when he played in goal. He went up front and scored some goals. I think he scored, 9 goals for Brøndby as a goalkeeper? I mean, a lot of players that end up as defenders, right wing backs, for example, were strikers. Apart from me, I was always a defender. I've always felt I was a good defender, a good right wing back, left back, of course. Yeah, we got smacked, but yeah, straight afterwards, absolutely. And what did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer say that time? What did he say that time? Some of these players will not be here, and they're still here. Those players are still here. Bruno's still here. Shaw's still here. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Lamens was a striker. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great. I mean, you know one thing about it? You know one thing that really made me happy, RJ and DJ Darkish? You know what really made me happy at the weekend is seeing Senny Lamens come up for that corner. It really gave me nostalgia. I don't know about you guys, but it gave me nostalgia. I really felt like, yeah, come on, Peter Schmeichel days. You know, take that risk. That is what risk-taking is all about. And Senny Lamens coming up for that corner, people may think it's nothing, but it does actually add a little bit of confusion in the Tottenham ranks, in the Tottenham defence. It does add a little bit of confusion in the Tottenham defence. And when Senny Lamens went up there, that's probably the reason They didn't look at the lit coming on the near at the far post. They probably didn't look at him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Lamens, I feel, will score a corner someday. He will do, like Schmeichel did, of course. I remember a couple of goals from Schmeichel. There was one against a team called Rotter Volgograd many years ago in the UEFA Cup. Of course, back then, Man United didn't really play in the UEFA Cup, but during the 95-96 season, Man United were not the champions. Blackburn were the champions. Blackburn went to the Champions League, and Blackburn embarrassed everyone in the Champions League, having fights with their own players. Those who remember David Batty, remember that? I think it was David Batty and Tim Sherwood, if I'm not wrong. But it was that Man United ended up in the Europa League, drew 0-0 away to Rotter Volgograd, and drew 2-2 at home with Rotter Volgograd and went out on away goals, which was, I don't think we really cared because obviously Man United at that time were just all about the Champions League. But Schmeichel got the goal, the equalising goal. There was also another one against Wimbledon, I believe it was. We were losing 1-0 and the corner came in and he done a scissor kick into the goal, but it was disallowed offside. But it would have been an absolutely fantastic goal. Absolutely would have been a brilliant goal. Of course, guys, absolutely. But yeah, look, I like goalkeepers who take risks. I like goalkeepers who are brave. And what that signified to me is that Sally Lamens is brave. He's brave. You know what? He doesn't care. He's brave. He's willing to take the risk. And I like that about him. I like that about that. Gave me this nostalgic feeling, this feeling that I haven't had in many years about Man United. Yeah, go on, man. Go on. Even though we were losing the game at the time, he played a big part in us equalizing then, guys. Absolutely. What's happening? Bremo has scored. And Bremo winning awards. Big up in Bremo, of course. Big up in Bremo smashing it. Signing of the season. Player of the season, in my opinion, so far. DJ Douglas, when I saw Peter hug Sene in the tunnel before the Liverpool game and hugged him afterwards, I knew Sene was for us. Yeah, I knew Sene was for us a year ago, DJ Darkers. Before anyone was talking about Sene Lamens, I mentioned him here first on Stretford Post when no one was talking about Sene Lamens. And I always knew he was a good player. Always knew he was the right player to come to Man United. A lot of people were saying, oh, we need Emi Martinez. Nah, we needed Sene Lamens. And I'm glad he's proven me right. I'm really happy for him. And I'm glad that everything he's doing well, of course. We aren't beating with Sene Lamens in goal. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I want the people's apology as loud as their criticism, when they were talking about Sene Lamens, at the end of the day, because when I mentioned him on this stream about a year and a half ago now, people are saying, we don't want any unknown goalkeeper, Sene Lamens. Who is that? Who's that goalkeeper, Sene Lamens? We don't want him, There you go. So I really want us to get Adeyemi. He's so bloody fast. Yeah, well, we just don't need fast players. We need talented players as well. I'm not saying he's not, but yeah, definitely. Evening, Brian. How you doing, my friend? I like Samanu. The issue is that the AFCON, that's why Sir Alex Ferguson didn't want to sign any players for Africa. This is exactly why, yeah, Ryan. This is why. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't sign African players because obviously the AFCON. I think personally, Ryan, in regards to World Cup qualifiers, European Cup qualifiers, AFCONs, I just think that they should not be in the middle of the season. I just feel that. And there needs to be space somewhere to play those games. Of course, there is space if you make it space, unless they take a break at the Premier League and play these tournaments, because, it does affect the team. And Alex Ferguson, didn't sign. It's up to him. He did sign, obviously, Quinton Fortune, of course, Jemba, those players, but he didn't really sign first-team players, if you know what I mean. He didn't sign first-team players from Africa precisely because of that reason. And that's not to say he didn't want them. He did, but he felt that AFCON comes around and it does cause a little bit of an issue, going forward. Pep too, I feel, because of AFCON. I think they should all run in sync. Yeah. Big up, DJ Darkus. Yeah, look, you know what? Look, there's been great African players over the years. I remember Premier League greats. I remember Tony Yeboah. You remember him? He was absolutely fantastic. Lucas Radebe was a fantastic defender. Some of my favorite players just right there alone. Do you know what I mean? And, I would say like the Nigeria team of the 1994 to 1998 is probably one of the best international teams I've ever witnessed. Unfortunately, we couldn't get these players, obviously, because of the AFCON, because it does disturb the season. Now, look, you look at it and you have to look at things objectively. We don't look at things on an emotional point of view. You have to look at things from a factual point of view, and from what can occur if worse gets to worst, of course. Like, for example, if Mbremo gets injured, God forbid. If Armour gets injured, God forbid. If we miss out on the Champions League by a point because of that, and this is what I'm talking about. And it is what it is. We can't change it. And I just hope they all have a good tournament and they come back nice and fresh. I hope so, of course. There has to be a petition to reschedule AFCON games. I mean, look, what we could argue, RJ, is that there needs to be a petition anyway for international games in general, not just the AFCON. There's obviously the European Championship. How many times have the season stopped because of the World Cup qualifiers or the European Cup qualifiers? You know, it is a lot, isn't it, to be honest with you? And to be honest, there's too many international games, in my opinion. There's too many. I just believe there is too many. I mean, I don't know why you need an AFCON or why you need a European champion. You've got the World Cup. Just have the World Cup and that's it. George Weah was a world-class player. I think he's the greatest African player of all time. Ballon d'Or winner, of course. Ryan, big JJ Kocher, one of my favorites as well. So good they named him twice as well. Sal, did you see that pic of Messi sitting with two powerful figures? UEFA president before, mate, what is it? Yeah, look, so he can rig another World Cup. Does he want to rig another World Cup? Is that what he wants to do? Because the other World Cup was rigged, wasn't it? DJ Darkus, when an African team wins the World Cup, I'd be well impressed. When, if, more like, I would say this, guys. There's a couple of Asian teams ahead of them. Asian teams. Japan, very good at the moment. South Korea, quite good. But Japan are very good at the moment. As you know, they beat Germany the last time. I think that it's going to be extremely difficult. Let me tell you why it's going to be extremely difficult. There's teams like England who can't win it, and England have got an absolutely world-class team. You got France, you got Spain, you got Portugal, you got Italy, you got Holland, you got Belgium, Argentina, Brazil. Very difficult. You need a lot of luck to go your way. Now, the closest that obviously African team got was Ghana. Now, obviously, that game against Uruguay was scandalous. Way back in 2010, when Suarez, who else, handballed it off the line. Should have just gave the goal. And then obviously the subsequent penalty was saved. That's the closest I ever felt. Rigged World Cup 2002, it was. Hate watch for Argentina. Big up, Kenny. Yeah, look, So what I would say is that, yeah, look, I just hope for a fair tournament this time. Hopefully there's no rigged things going on because it was very sinister, that World Cup, the last World Cup. There was a lot of things that happened in that World Cup that were very, very suspicious and very, very iffy, in my opinion. In particular, the Holland game. Now people say, well, how comes that Argentina drew 3-3 with France then? How did they make that happen? They would have just made Argentina win the game and blah, blah, blah. No. If France scored that goal at the end, they would have made Argentina equalize. I think they would have. They would have made Argentina equalize. It would have been a free kick or something, a penalty or something like that, and it would have made Argentina equalize, in my opinion. I actually believe that would have happened. But it is what it is. I don't think your career should be defined on the World Cup. There's many people who won the World Cup who are not deemed as like the greatest players of all time. I think Cristiano Ronaldo's absolutely right. You cannot be defined on 6 games in a tournament where it's a luck of the draw. You get decisions go your way. Holland should have won that game, by the way. And, I remember that very, very well. Everything. Messi should have been sent off. For a second yellow. Blatant handball. It was horrible. Money talks play for. I mean, at the end of the day, there are some teams that, UEFA just love. Like, I'll give you an example, Argentina. UEFA, FIFA have always had this love affair with Argentina. Now, we remember back when England played Argentina in 1998, Beckham being sent off, absolutely no red card for me. And we know what happens, and you have to really beat Argentina well to get to knock them out. And they didn't stop at nothing to make Argentina ensure that Argentina won that World Cup. They even predicted how the World Cup was going to be celebrated with the robe and everything, Morocco under 20s, very strong team. Morocco are improving, absolutely. Paredes should have been sent off when he kicked the ball towards the Netherlands bench. Yep. Messi should have been sent off when he handballed it. Stopped the attack. He should have been sent off, absolutely. Yeah, it was rigged. It was blatantly rigged. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, yeah, look, I thought it was very unfair on Holland, in particular Holland. I felt like if people are asking seriously, I think it was Weghorst who said it, isn't it? Weghorst said it. He said, look, they just wanted Argentina to go through, didn't he? He said it. He blatantly accused them of corruption, and I don't disagree. That classic robbery of Barcelona versus Arsenal and Chelsea versus Barcelona. The worst one was Barcelona against Chelsea. I think that was absolute robbery. And let's not forget, guys, at that season, Man United got to the final. right? Man United got to the final of the Champions League, and they would have been playing Chelsea again for the second time in a row, right? And I feel like Man United would have beat Chelsea again, right? I feel like that changed the course of history, that game, because there were 3 or 4 penalties in that game, which were stone wall penalties, guys. Stone wall penalties. And I'll never forget that. And that proved to me, that moment right there, that this football is rigged. Football's rigged. England, 2010 against Germany, equalise against Germany, 2-2, comes off the bar, over the line, about that much over the line, don't give the goal. Now, that's what I'm talking about, momentum here. So when England equalised that time and it was about that much over the goal, it would have been 2-2 at half-time. England would have come back from 2-0 down. The momentum would be in England's favour, you know, and this is the difference. And you never know what would have happened. In the end, England lose 4-1. Probably because their mind is thinking about that. Do you know what I mean? And this is what happens, you know. That Chelsea game, though, that Chelsea game was absolutely scandalous. When I think about that game, how they got away with that. That game should have been replayed. And I'm not a Chelsea fan, guys. And I feel that that game should be replayed. There's a lot of tribalism in football. There is a lot of tribalism in football. And when it doesn't affect your football team, people don't really care. That's the problem here. We need to counter these things. We need to work as a collective because tribalism is affecting football. I know you support whoever you support, right? But you've got to look what's good for football. We want what's best for football. We want the right decisions. And whilst there's corruption and sinister things going on within football, you know, it's just going to continue if we do nothing, you know, and it will happen against us again. We all know that corruption has happened against Manchester United, allegedly. We all know that a lot of bad decisions have happened against Man United and that it's been debunked and it's been proven that, you know what, the next week, the same decision, nothing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Big up DJ Darkus. Drogba is I mean, it was though. It was. And I would agree with Drogba here, 100%. Drogba wouldn't go absolutely ballistic like that if he didn't mean it. And I saw it. You know, I saw it and I saw the fouls and I thought, wow. Robbery. Again, another team, Barcelona, or UEFA Lona, as they call them, another team that, you know what, they just wanted them to win the Champions League. And I feel that they even contributed to them beating Man United in Rome at that year. Of course. And to be honest with you, yeah, I think Man United would have won that against Chelsea. I think Man United would have won again against Chelsea in the final. It would have been a difficult game, no doubt about it, but it would have been a fair game. You know, I think Man United would have beat Chelsea again and have 4 European Cups, of course. Chelsea got robbed. It was so blatant. I don't like Michael Oliver neither. I would beat... Look, it's nothing about beating the F out of them. They just need to be left football. I think they just need to leave football. I think what England then need to do and the rest of Europe need to do is that they need to bring referees from around the world, bring referees from different countries. Because now we've got players from different countries, we've got managers from different countries. Why not have referees from different countries? I don't understand, because that would cancel out favoritism and tribalism, wouldn't it? That would cancel it out, because let's not sit here and pretend that a lot of these officials in England, right, don't support teams in England, right? It's so obvious sometimes. They make it so obvious, you know? Absolutely. But yeah, look, you know, hopefully it all proves. Like the World Cup is coming at the end of the season, and I hope that we get a good World Cup. I hope we get a fair World Cup. We have got VAR. There's no getting away from that now, you know. But there was always, I know, you know that there's going to be decisions that we're going to be like, what the hell, you know? Absolutely. Leave football before football leaves you. Yeah, absolutely. But what I would say is this. World Cup is in America this year, guys. I'm going to be doing some watch-alongs. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I mean, shouldn't be in America, to be honest with you. Really, really shouldn't be in America, but it is what it is. There's plenty more countries around the world that would have hosted the World Cup better. I think always believe that the World Cup should be in a football nation. All right, so what I believe is that I will try to do I will try to do watch-alongs during the World Cup. It's going to be extremely difficult given the games are going to be kicking off at 3 or 4 a.m. Some of them, isn't it, at the end of the day? Let me just have a look. The World Cup fixtures haven't been announced yet, have they? They haven't been announced yet, yeah, because no one's qualified yet. Not everyone has qualified yet. Absolutely. So, yeah, look, you know, I hope that it's a fair World Cup. I actually believe it's going to be a competitive World Cup. I think it will be a better World Cup than the one in 1994, where it was hosted in America as well. And all I can remember about that World Cup was Diana Ross kicking the ball over the bar with an open goal. That's all I can remember from that. Absolutely. Big up Yarley. Big day for Norwegian football today. If we lose, we will throw everything away. If we win, 98% sure we will take part in the first World Cup in over 20 years. Is it today, Yarley? Let me have a look. Who are Norway playing? Norway should be qualified already. They're basically there. They're basically there already since 1998. Well, you got Estonia. I mean, Norway. I mean, come on, bro. If you don't beat Estonia, come on. Yeah, you got Estonia today. That's at 9 o'clock tonight in my time. So I do think, I think you're going to win that. I think you're going to win that. You're going to win that easily. And welcome back to the World Cup, mate. Welcome back to the World Cup. It's been a long time. 1998 was the last time. England are playing Serbia today at 11:45 p.m. I mean, goodness me. I mean, England already through. England have got 18 points. The nearest challengers to England are Albania on 6. It's ridiculous. Norway playing right now. They're playing in an hour. They're playing in an hour, yeah. Derez, what's going on, my friend? Are we doing well? Sal, who would you pick up as a replacement sergeant between Nico Slotterbeck, Braithwaite, or Mark Gui? Mark Gui isn't much of a left footer, so I would pick a left footer. So it'd probably be between Braithwaite and Slotterbeck. For me, I would pick Slotterbeck because he'll be cheaper and he'll be more experienced, in my opinion. Serbia again. I mean, come on. England are too strong for them. England have got one of the best teams in Europe at the moment. And the thing is, which is scary for a lot of teams out there, is that Thomas Tuchel seems to have found a balance for England. He seems to have found a balance for England, and he's tactically better than Gareth Southgate. A lot better than Gareth Southgate. You see, England got through to finals because of their talent alone. We didn't need Gareth Southgate to get to the final. Now that England have got, obviously, Thomas Tuchel, who is a capable manager, right? He's won a Champions League. I think England could do well, absolutely. Sal, would you bring Welbeck in January? No. I don't think we need a striker. We need more of an attacking midfielder, if we're being honest. I don't think we need a striker. If it's a loan deal, yeah, maybe, yeah. But I think Man United need more of a midfielder and an attacking midfielder, in my opinion, if I'm being honest, guys. I really do. I don't think we need another striker. We believe in Benjamin Sesko. Of course we do. That's what we do, guys. We believe in Benjamin Sesko. We believe in you. That's what we do, guys. Absolutely. And, yeah, look, I want Man United to improve this squad. I do want them. Whoever we bring in, I want it to be a squad that is, that is healthy. If we lose a player, we bring in another player. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Yale, England versus Norway in the World Cup. That would be a fight and something I would love to see. England will win, probably 3-0. Sorry, Yale. I think England are too strong. I'll be honest. I'm not being arrogant. I just think England would smash up most teams in Europe. The only team that I think can affect England are France and Spain at the moment. Sadly. RJ, it would be Iraq against UAE today as well. Who qualifies from Iraq and UAE in the Middle East? Guys, we might have the UAE in the World Cup. Can you imagine? Or Iraq in the World Cup. Can you imagine that? That will be a turn up for the books. In America, of course. Of course, guys, absolutely. But yeah, look, I'm not a big fan of international football. I'll be honest. I like international football when the World Cup is on. I'm happy when the European Championships is on. I'm happy about that. I'm happy about that. But what I would say is this, right? These games I'm not bothered about. I'm not bothered. It's pointless. When I'm seeing some of the games and the quality of some of these games, it's just pointless. I can get a team together over here and beat San Marino. I'm South African, qualified already. Congratulations, RJ. Congratulations, South Africa. When's the last time you qualified? Was it 2010? When you qualified automatically? Was it that? Did you qualify for the 2014-18, 22? I can't remember. I remember that. I remember South Africa. Absolutely. Ephraim, good evening, Sal. Big up, Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. If Mainu and Ugarte do, you think our result will be the same? No, I think Man United would be better if they had Mainu and Ugarte in midfield because it'd be more balanced, in my opinion, guys. They were the host. They qualified automatically. Didn't like that World Cup. I'll be honest. I didn't like the World Cup. I didn't like the ooh. It was like that, wasn't it? Ooh, in the stadium. I didn't like it. I mean, my favorite World Cups, 2002, 1998, 1990 was a very good World Cup. Very, very good World Cup. But yeah, I know that South Africa hosted the World Cup. They actually played Mexico in the first game, didn't they? You know, so I remember it well. And yeah, they scored the first goal. And yeah, look, you know, it was a bad World Cup, obviously, for England, because obviously I feel like England were robbed at that time. I really do. I felt like that goal was way over the line. And that's when I really looked at football and I thought, wow, that is corrupt. You know what I mean? The Venezuelans, they drove me mad, RJ. They drove me bloody mad. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Look, South Africa's a great country, you know, and I think it's a great football country. We've got a lot of fans in South Africa, some of the best Man United fans in the world. Yeah, we got some great Man United fans in South Africa. You know, great Premier League football fans in South Africa. It's great. Didn't like the World Cup for a number of reasons, you know, but it wasn't the worst World Cup in the world, to be honest with you. I actually, at least the World Cup went to a nation that loves football. Unlike America, who don't love football like we love football. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's it. And how can a country like America host a World Cup twice in 30 years? That's like England hosting the Super Bowl twice in 30 years. And America's never hosted the Super Bowl. Robin was such a diver, Sal. Robin was a diver, yeah. He was good at it. Hello, MSK. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hello, Sal. How about if we get Gallagher on loan and push for Gomez in January instead of 100 million single player? Man United are not going to sign any 100 million players, MSK, my friend, in January. The most likely scenario would be a loan for Conor Gallagher. Another likely scenario could be João Gomez, as you said, or another likely scenario could be Angelo Stiller. Players such as Anderson, players such as Adam Wharton won't be coming to Man United in January. They're going to cost too much. Nottingham Forest and, of course, and Crystal Palace, respectively, have got things to fight for. They've got European football, relegation, and things like that. So I don't think that they will come until the summer. The most likely scenario, if gun to head, the most likely scenario is Conor Gallagher to Man United on loan. That's what I think. Ephraim, Sal, which World Cup is the best for you? 1998. For me. And I've been watching World Cup since 1986. The first one I can actually vividly remember with Maradona and that and Brian Robson. But the one that I really liked, I loved, was 1998 World Cup. 1998 World Cup. That gave me excitement. I really enjoyed it. I did. And I watched every game in that World Cup. I actually went to Tunisia against England. Guys, it was absolutely brilliant. It really was. Yali, what is your thought that this data guy they bought is improving our data gathering too much? I think football's being too much run by data. That's what I think. I think it's killing the game, to be honest with you. Not interested in data. I'm interested in the eye test. And I think that players are becoming too robotic now. That's just my opinion. I think players are becoming too robotic and they need to start, just getting back to basics, in my opinion. 1998, yeah, 90, very, very good World Cups, Charlie. Very, very good World Cup. 1990 World Cup. Brilliant. The music, Italy. And imagine Italy only hosting the World Cup once in the last 100 years. Amazing, isn't it? And Spain. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And then you got the USA, the great USA, US of A, where you can't even sit down and have a debate without something going through your neck. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, yeah, look, it is, I feel like the football should be in the footballing countries. That's it. Whether it's Argentina, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Paraguay, whether it's Bolivia, whether it's Mexico, whether it's Morocco, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Ghana. Should be in a footballing country. People will love it. Sal, what is the England's best starting 11? If I was to pick England's best starting 11, wow. It's a difficult one, I wouldn't hesitate to guess what England's best team would be. I would pick a young team. I think it would surprise a lot of people. But there is a lot of players. There's a lot of choices that England can have. I mean, look at the midfield. Declan Rice, Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Bellingham. You know what I mean? We're not even talking about other players who can play in that position as well. In the defence, probably be Mark Gui. Probably be in defence. Konza's another one that I might even put into defence. Stones has still got it, in my opinion. Lewis Skelly is another one that I think is absolutely fantastic. I think he's brilliant as well. I think England have got a lot of talent coming through as well. That's another thing, And yeah, obviously they've got Eze in the team as well. They got a lot of talent. Donald Trump, yeah. I mean, England have a wicked. They do. They do. I think England got a big chance this year. The only one that can compete is Spain, but I even think that England have got a stronger team than them. They have got a wicked team. They absolutely have. You're thinking about Cole Palmer as well, you know, who we haven't even mentioned yet. You know, you think about Alex Scott, who we haven't even mentioned yet. You know what I mean? You think about these players, you know, who've been coming through the ranks as well, you know, and from Bournemouth and teams like that as well. It's like England have got a lot of talent coming through. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And Elliot Anderson alone, you know, and Bellingham and Declan Rice and Adam Wharton in that midfield, you know, is credible. Then you got all Gordon and I just think the mix in England, the mixture of players and Harry Kane up front, of course, the mix is very, 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 very good. I would, however, take out Bowen out of that squad and I'll put in Ivan Toney for me. I think Ivan Toney is a better player, in my opinion. I think Bowen is very, very average, in my opinion. But yeah, look, let's not forget that Kobbie Mainoo. Like, I feel sorry for Kobbie Mainoo because Kobbie Mainoo is not going to be. He might miss out on the World Cup. Of course, he probably will now. He probably had his last chance now. Obviously, Tuchel's picked the other England team squad now. There's not going to be many other opportunities for Mainoo to get in the squad, and he looks like he will miss out on the World Cup. It's about time a nation will go 3 or 4 nations hold together like the Canada. It's about time England host the World Cup. England invented the sport. We've had 1 World Cup. It's about time England host the World Cup. It's our sport. You know, at the end of the day, I don't care what everyone says. England should win the World Cup. It should host the World Cup. It's our sport. How can we only host the World Cup once? You know? It shouldn't be given to anyone. First, it should be given to England. You know, that's where it should be given to. And I'll be honest with you, because we invented the sport and we only hosted it once. You know, as I said, that's like America hosting the Super Bowl once. You know, it's madness, isn't it? Sal, England golden era deserved their World Cup and Euro. Always unlucky, to be honest with you. Always unlucky. England have always been something a little bit par. Like I would say, David Seaman was one of the most overrated goalkeepers of all time. David Seaman was one of the most overrated goalkeepers of all time. If it didn't flap against Ronaldinho, Brazil went down to 10 men in 2002, right? England would have went on to beat Brazil, most likely. And then in the semi-final, guess who they would have played? Turkey. No disrespect. Turkey. After they played Turkey, guess who they would have played? Germany. Germany, who a couple of months before, England had beaten 5-1 in Munich. You know? I think England have always been unlucky with decisions and always been unlucky with mistakes. This is the thing. You can't discount 1998. Obviously, England were cheated out of that tournament. I'll say it to them. My dying day, I say it. England were cheated out of that tournament. Absolutely. Sal, Van Dijk will be 35 next year. Bloody hell. No way Holland picked Van Dijk. They will, you know. Looking forward to looking at the English team. They would win everything, but somehow they always have a game where they aren't up for it. As a German fan, obviously, I must say we are nowhere near England right now. You never know, Tybo, because Germany. I've always said it, Tybo. I've always said it over the years. I've always said something about this. It's very important about experience culturally in winning things. You know, there's always that element behind it, whether it's Germany or France, you know, or Spain, that they've gone over the line. England have had a very poor manager for now since 2018. So you're looking at 7 years. They had a very, very poor manager. Now, wouldn't it be ironic, Tyborg? Wouldn't it be ironic if England win the World Cup and it's Thomas Tuchel who wins it? It's Thomas Tuchel. You would be able to celebrate as well, you know. Agree on Seaman. Shilton was the best ever England. Look, guys, you know what? The thing is, Tyborg, right? They have these compilation videos of David Seaman in England. They have these compilation videos of David Seaman making that save against Sheffield United or saving that penalty against Spain in Euro 96. He got nowhere near those penalties in Euro 96 against Germany. Nowhere near. He's just so overrated. He weren't mean enough. Shilton was good. Actually saw his 1,000th game play, actually. I actually went to his 1,000th game. Sal, for me, Portugal or England this time. I wouldn't mind Portugal, to be honest. I would not mind. What are people going to say? What are people going to say if Cristiano Ronaldo lifts that World Cup? What are people going to say? Who's the Sue then? Who's the GOAT? Who's the GOAT? What are they going to say? Where are they going to turn? They're going to still say Messi's the GOAT. Messi's the commercial GOAT. That's what he is. He's the Zion GOAT. RJ, big up RJ. Sal, which country do you think will win the World Cup? England. I support my team. I'm like Man United. Every time you ask me, it's like, Sal, do you like sticky toffee pudding? Yeah. As what basically you said. That's what basically it is. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, yeah. I think England will win it. Would I put my money on England with it? Gun to head? Probably not. But I would say that, yeah, I would like England to win. I think England are due to win it. Absolutely. I think England are due to win it. You know what I mean? And win it in America. Is it gonna be sinister? Is it gonna be a sinister occasion? One thing it's gonna be incredibly hot. Spain is my favorite team to say. Hate to say it because I don't like Spanish football, but they are really strong. They're strong, yeah. England's biggest nemesis. But I think England would have beat them if they had Tuchel. Honestly, Tybo, I think England went to 1-1 with a very, very poor manager. I think with Cole Palmer, with Adam Wharton, with Elliot Anderson, with Bellingham, with Eze, with Kane, I think England could beat Spain now. I think they should be confident that they could beat Spain. And he who dares wins. He who dares wins. You're going to have to play these teams if you want to win a World Cup. I remember when Spain had to beat Germany when they won the World Cup. And they won 1-0 with a pure goal. And it was 1-0. Yeah. But, as I said there, I said it before, guys. It's not just about talent. It's about mentality and getting over the line and having the guts. Look at England, for example, against Italy in the Euros final. Italy were there for the taking. That team were old, that Italian team. But mentally, England clocked out. When England went 1-0 up against Italy in the Euros final, England should have went for 2, 3, 4. That's what they should have went. They clocked out and cowardly. Now, if Tuchel was in charge, and Tuchel's not the greatest manager of all time, but he's a very, very good tactical manager, I think England would have won. England have always been a manager away or a goalkeeper away from winning. Like, for example, people talk a lot about the golden generation at England. David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Ashley Cole, Sol Campbell, who was the other defender? Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Michael Owen. People talk a lot about that. But then you had David James in goal. You know what I mean? And we always had this thing where, there's always something. Ephraim. So, is it sad when Messi and Ronaldo stop playing football? It's sad when Ronaldo stops playing football. Spain has gotten a little worse. England got a little better. I still think Spain are absolutely fantastic team. Yeah. But you never know, Jarle. Who knows? It does depend on the fixtures as well. I think, obviously, it depends who we're going to play. I have got a feeling, though, Jarle. I have got a feeling England are going to play Norway. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but I have got this feeling. Remember these words, guys. I have got a feeling that England will play Norway in the World Cup. I've got a feeling. We always seem to play a Scandinavian team. We always seem to get it. Agree, Sal. Southgate was pulling back that England team for. I mean, yeah, what a waste. Now, let me give you an example, Tybo. I'm not saying that England would went to the final and beaten France, but what I said against Croatia in the 2018 World Cup, right? Croatia made one change, right? They, of course, they went all on the left and they attacked England's left, and every single England fan could see that they were attacking the left quite intensively, and Gareth Southgate didn't know what to do, and he just gave up against France in 2022. No tactical, nothing. I still want to see Norway battle England, win, lose a draw. But I want to see. I mean, we haven't played Norway in a long time, a long time in a competitive game. I would love that because I love Norway. Yeah, I love Sweden and Norway. I do. Great countries. Just not Argentina. Absolutely. England would have won that at least 3 or 4-0 with the midfield, to be honest, if it was absolutely amazing team, but they never played up to their standards. it's always small margins, isn't it, Tyborg? You know, I brought in the 2002 World Cup where David Seaman makes that stupid mistake against Brazil, and England Brazil go through 2-1. England would have ended up playing Turkey in the semi and Germany in the final, who they beaten 5-1 just a couple of months ago because it wasn't the best Germany team. David Seaman let it go. Brazil went down to 10 men. You know, it would have been a completely different story, I think. But no point crying over spilt milk. That's football. And you have to pick yourself up. You have to dust yourself off and go again and make something happen. This time, do it. This time, show us that you're mentality monsters, you know? But it's going to be a different World Cup. It's going to be a confusing World Cup, obviously, because it's in America. It's not going to be the same. You know, I always believe that when a World Cup is in a place like America, it's not going to be the same. It doesn't have the same feel. I get that feel. You know, when Man United play in friendlies in America, you always feel like it's not like a football game. It's like a commercial enterprise, some sort of, you're waiting for bloody Tina Turner to come out of nowhere and, you know what I mean, singing Simply the Best. And that's what I feel about it, you know. Sal, do you think Spain are more dependent on Yamal? Yeah, I think they're too dependent on him for his age. So Portugal have a very good team now. Yeah, they do. There's a few. In Germany, don't write them off. The best ever team result for me, obviously, was the 7-1. Tyborg, I don't know how you felt that game, but you must have felt very, very nice. I mean, I can only dream of something like that happening. An absolute brilliant World Cup from Germany. Well-deserved. Fantastic. Mentality monsters. That's what I say. You didn't do it the easy way. You beat the hosts. You beat Argentina. You beat Spain. Did you beat Spain? I'm not sure who you beat. Yeah, you beat Argentina. And you beat the hosts. You beat Argentina in the final. You know where I was when Germany beat Argentina? I was in a plane. And I remember I didn't get to watch the game because I was on a plane. I was on the way back from Switzerland. I was on the way back from Basel. And I was on the plane, and then someone said, "Oh, the pilot went, oh, just to let you guys know, Germany have won the World Cup." And I thought, wow, they won it again. Well done, well played. You know, there you go. And you know, England have always been close. I'll give you an example of 1996. Gascoigne was a kebab away. A kebab the night before away from putting that golden goal into the back of the net. Just a kebab away. But England do it to themselves. And I'll give you an example. In Euro 96, Manchester United had just won the double. They can't win anything with kids' team. No Beckham, no Scholes, no Gary Neville, no Andy Cole, no Steve Bruce, no Gary Pallister. The only player in that England squad from that team was Gary Neville. But who's in the team? Neil Ruddock, Jamie Redknapp, Steve Stone, Darren Anderton. You know, that is what we're talking about here. You know, maybe, just maybe, if we had Andy Cole, even if we had Robbie Fowler at that time, if we had Andy Cole in that team, if we had David Beckham, Paul Scholes to bring on as substitutes, maybe they would have won it. Who knows? It's all here, ifs, buts, and maybes, isn't it, guys? Germany and Mulder, I mean, one of the greatest results of all time. I miss Klose Germany. I mean, Klose, he was like the international expert. He was like the international expert. He just knew how to put the ball in the back of the net at international level. Unbelievable. Sal, yeah, big up. Guys, I want to thank everyone who's joined me today. I really appreciate it. Great chat. Really appreciate it. Guys, I will be back tomorrow morning for Breaking Dawn. Of course, I will, and look forward to seeing you. Let me read Tyborg's comment. Tyborg, there is a meme of a German guy coming out of the store with a box of beer, full drunk, saying to the TV viewer, "We'll win 7-1. He is a legend even today. Goodness me. Greatest result. I think, honestly, I would put that down as the greatest result in international football history, given where it was, given the circumstances, the score. Thomas Müller was on fire. Klose was on fire. Mario Götze was on fire. You know, what a team. Schweinsteiger was on fire. You know, and peak of their powers, I would say. Peak of their powers. Germany were at the peak of their powers at that time, yeah. And they flirted with it slightly in 2010, but got there in 2014. And I congratulate them. Very good team. Guys, I want to thank everyone. You absolute legends. Take it easy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to smash a like, guys. Let's try and get as many likes as possible before the end of the day, of course. And don't forget, tomorrow I'll be back for Breaking Dawn, guys. Have a fantastic evening, guys. You do that and enjoy it, guys. Because at the end of the day, smile whilst you still have teeth. It's not the end of the world. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you soon. Much love. Peace.